All right, in this video, I want to talk about the shapes of different graphs, or the shapes of distribution. I have three graphs here. I've used a histogram to illustrate these. The first one is the uniform distribution, where each of our groups or classes is roughly the same size. In my example, they're all exactly the same size. There could be a little bit of variance, but they're uniform. Everyone looks the same when you wear a uniform. So our classes or our groups, bars, should all look roughly the same. The second is the binomial, sometimes referred to as the normal distribution. Our textbook tends to refer to it as the normal distribution. In this one, we have a high middle. This is where our mean and our median and our mode would be. And then as we go to the left and to the right, lower and higher, the data drops off. The second is the bimodal. This is bi meaning two. We have two modes. If you look, there are two humps on this graph. Mode, remember, is the number that's repeated the most, so there will be a lower mode and a higher mode. It's sort of like having two little binomials or two little normal distributions. A couple more graphs. These are considered non-symmetric. Symmetric just means I could fold it over and they would land on top of each other. If I fold her over the middle, it would make a complete pattern. The first two are my skeweds. To start with, I have skewed to the left. The left is what this is called the tail. So the tail's on the left, so that's why it's skewed to the left. A really silly example is if you have someone that kind of hoards cats in your neighborhood, they're going to bring down the value of your house. So everything's skewed over there. They have a really, really low value of their house. Everybody else is, tends to be grouped together over there on the right-hand side, but they have the tail. The other middle graph is skewed to the right. The tail, the smaller end, is on the right-hand side. An example of this would be if you have most people in your class score in the 70s and 80s on the test, but then you have a couple people that are really high flyers and they score 100. They're going to be on the tail of that, up on the really high right-hand side. So you label it to where the tail is, not where the data is. And then last is another example of my bimodal. This time it's not completely symmetrical, meaning I can't fold it in the middle and get the same thing on the left and right, but I still have two modes. I still have those two high classes, those two high bars that are both the modes.